No, there we go. Right, hello everyone. Nice to be back. So we'll come back and have a little chat about what I've been doing and just have a catch up with you all. So today we've got Kelly on here. So we're going to talk about various subjects, but we're going to start off with Kelly was one of the ladies that did one of my programs. So Kelly did the energetic coding program. So we thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about that, what we could take from it, a bit about how it works, before we delve into other subjects that hopefully that you'll find interesting. So Kelly, you did the energetic coding program with me. So we did it over a period of a few months. What do you think it was?
We started late October and finished February kind of time, I think it was.
So like when we did your program, so what was the main reason why you decided to do it? What did you think?
I can't really remember. It feels like it was such a long time ago. I think it was I think it started off with money blocks. I think that was the thing that I was worried about. The thing that I had those issues with, you know, those deep down anxieties, was not having enough finance, not having enough money, not being able to pay bills. Even though me and my partner had recently just come into a better situation, I think I still had those, you know, what do you call them? The unconscious beliefs and stuff like that I was still holding on to, and I couldn't fully relax into this part of my life that I was in, I suppose.
Yeah. So we had a little chat before we come on camera, and what normally is the case, people don't realise like the embodiment of it until something happens. So we had a little chat, didn't we? What things have come up for you, and where you realise that doing this program has calmed down your nervous system, so you're not so triggered anymore, isn't it? So would you like to share just one or two of those with us?
So I probably, people that know me know that I talk about this probably quite a lot, but I was it was probably close to 2 years ago now. I was in a really bad place with work. I was working for a company. I was overworked. I was burnt out. I was just the lowest that I've ever been. I ended up getting signed off from work for, as you know, got signed off from work for like 8 weeks, and then they promised me the world, and they said, we're going to, you know, give you this, we're going to give you this training, we'll give you all this help, support, we won't give you so much work. I went back to work, and about 8 weeks later, I was just back in that same situation. And then I gave up the job. I don't know where that came from, but I gave up the job knowing that it was my life or the money, really. And then obviously going from that kind of money coming in every month and then going into, so I've started my own business, just doing cleaning, not making anywhere near as much money as I was on. But if I ever walked past my old office, because it was close to where I live, if I ever walked past there, I'd have like, I could feel a panic attack starting. You know, you can feel your blood kind of bubbling, vibrating. I don't know what you call it. I had that, and I was just, if I was going into London and I thought, oh, I could bump into someone here that I used to work with. It was just such a horrible situation. And then it was actually yesterday that I first noticed it. I was driving to pick up my husband from the train station, which is near where the office was. And he said to me, where do you want to pick me up? And I said, I'll just pick you up near the old office. And he said, oh, but you know, everyone's in the office. Are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, yeah, I have no issue. It's fine. And he was like, but aren't you scared? And I was like, no. And then he went, but they're all in there. And I was like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then when he got in the car, he was like, oh, I thought you'd be really triggered by that. And I was like, oh yeah. It didn't even occur to me. I thought, why is he going on so much? But it didn't even occur to me that like 4 or 5 months ago, before we'd done the course, that I was actually triggered by that. That's how long ago that's how quickly it happened, that I didn't even notice that the thing had helped, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so you weren't triggered by it anymore. Your nervous system had calmed down, and we've like sort of cleared that, if you like. Yeah. And we also chatted a bit about like your money beliefs as well. So that's changed for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
About it.
Yeah, just money isn't so much. I mean, obviously, money is, you've got to pay your bills and stuff like that. But I don't really look at money now in the same way that I used to. Not like, oh, I've got to keep hold of it. Or, I mean, don't tell my husband that because he'll ask me why I didn't let him buy the £100 top that he wanted to buy or something like that. But yeah, I just don't feel the same way about it now. I feel more relaxed around money, and I just know that we're going to be okay. I think that's the difference is,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, you might get to the end of the month every now and again where you've spent a bit more than you should have done. But I don't sit there thinking, oh my God, how are we going to pay our bills? What are we going to do? I just think, no, it's fine. We'll get it somehow or another.
Trust it's going to come in and flow now. Do you
Yeah.
feel like your energy system has all completely changed then? The way that you like are in the world, like for me, when I did it on myself, I
Mm.
found that I had to just work on my energy system all the time and to clear stuff maybe that was sitting there for me.
Yeah.
And then the way that I just functioned in the world was different. Like I feel like my energy, obviously it has to be, or because I do what I do, but I felt like my whole energy just cleared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money to me or attract things to me because I've done the work on myself.
Yeah, I think so. Like, this month, for instance, like, so every month I have like a set amount of hours that I do,
Mm.
and like my main clients and stuff like that, and I don't really get much more work in. But this month I've got about an extra 3 days of work to do, which is a big chunk of money, coming in, and that
Mm.
has to do with the energy that I'm putting out there. I'm not blocking more work coming in. I'm open to things, and I think that probably helps. And you don't. I mean, I don't know about you, but when you're in that kind of negative space, you're more likely to get a parking ticket
Yeah,
um, or something like that, where you're spending money that that you don't even want to be, or you get not a speeding ticket, but things that, like, just go wrong a little bit, don't they? Like that you think, oh, why is that costing me more? I don't have anything like that at the moment, so I think
yeah.
that's all good.
Yeah, I think like you sort of track that. It seems to be one thing after another. I do notice sometimes with people that I work with, like anything that's left hanging
Mm.
starts to come in to be cleared. So
Yeah.
there can be a little aspect of time where they think, or say it is for money, there will
Mm.
be things, bills come in, things show up. And I think it is just to see whether it still triggers them and how they react to it, but also to clear it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
now gone.
Yeah, that's funny actually because I was saying about money things not having to spend. We just literally had to spend about £800 on our dog because she had some vet an incident at the park, and then she ended up having some vet fees that we had to pay.
Yeah.
But we had the money for it. It was like probably the first time in our life that the money was in our account, and we didn't have to think, oh, where are we going to find this money? And then we'll get the money back because it's covered in the insurance. So, and I know we will get it back. So I didn't even sit there thinking like, oh, we got to spend this money, and where are we going to find it? We're never going to get this money back. I know we're getting it back. So even that changed. Do you know,
Yeah.
like, but 6 months ago, we would have been in a different place completely. We would have been, how are we going to find this?
Yeah, stressing
Oh,
about
we'll get it
it.
back. Yeah. Mm. And chances are we probably wouldn't have got it back because we would have been putting that bad energy into it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, would have putting it out there, wouldn't you?
Mm.
Yeah, I see. What other things did we go in there? We did some timeline clearing as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was all connected to money, money blocks. So we
Yeah.
went in and shifted a few timelines. Can you remember anyone in particular? Because I never always remember any of them when I've done them. So that's why
Yes.
use of my clients have to keep notes because I can't always remember
Yeah.
everything.
Um, there was one which actually I think cleared two blocks. Which another one I'll just go into. The timeline was my husband had, and I think this was a past life timeline one, so one that was playing out, because I think we discovered that the husband was who is my dad in this life, was my husband in that life.
Yeah,
And
okay.
my dad died when I was 10, so I have that kind of abandonment issue in regards to that. And this timeline was that my husband killed himself. We were struggling with money and things like that, and he killed himself. And then I was struggling with money even more so.
Okay.
Um, and he came back in that timeline. I went into that and I fixed it by him. He came in to me and apologised, and I can't remember it 100% what was said and everything like that, but that was the gist of it. And we kind of fixed that timeline. But the funny thing is it's kind of affected my relationship in a better way now, because my husband now, for instance, is going. He used to, if he used to have to go away for the weekend or anything like that, I would be a nervous wreck. If he went to his one of his classes and I didn't hit, and he said he was getting back at 10, and he got too busy talking and it was 11 o'clock, I'd be thinking, oh my God, he's died, he's had a car crash. And but that's always where I went. That was where my brain went. He's dead. Like, that's the only possible explanation as to why he can't be here. He's dead. And I've had that since near enough us being in a relationship. Like, I've always worried about that. But right now he's on a plane to New Orleans and I don't even feel worried. And that should be my biggest worry. I should be sitting there thinking, oh my God, is that plane is he gonna get there safely? And I just think, no, I know he's coming back next week. I'm not worried about it. So that's changed as well. So there's two things there in that one timeline, I would say, that have really affected it.
Yeah, we don't always know what's playing out in the background, do we? What's in the subconscious, and what things are like triggering us and like ruling our life and ruling our emotions and stopping us from moving forward and just doing stuff as well. So it's got to be so much nicer, you just sitting there having this conversation with me, knowing that he's on that plane and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's
yeah,
and it's funny because, like, I'm the kind of person, I don't like being at home on my own, and I'm going to be at home on my own for a week, but I'm actually really looking forward to this time, and I'm near enough booked up the whole time. And part of me is like, when am I actually going to get a day on my own?
That's really good, isn't it?
But that's the difference. Whereas, like, you know, like I said, 6 months ago, the thought of even going to Sainsbury's on my own would have been terrifying. Like, I can do my job, I can get to my job. I don't know why I just go on like blinkers, you know, just automatic, just got to get there, got to do the job, come home. But once I'm in my like out of my routine kind of situation, I find it really hard to do things without knowing, like, oh, he's going to be home at this time, he's going to do this. But I'm not worried about any of that, and I really do think that's a lot to do with the course that we did.
Because we our one took a while, didn't it? Because we didn't do them every week, we did them like every couple of weeks, didn't we? Or maybe sometimes it was 3 weeks, but they're long sessions, aren't they? So we would do like 4 hours generally. Sometimes went a little bit longer, didn't we? Just to go in and fully immerse into what we were doing at that time. So we did like generational clearing, didn't we? And we went in and we did we connect to your dad as well? I can't remember if we did connect to him.
Wound, I think we connected to him and we cleared all of that. Then I think the generational one, if I'm right in thinking, it was I don't think this was, it could have been the father wound or it could have been the generational, I can't remember, but we did where we went through the anger and those feelings, and we asked, and I realized that a lot of those feelings that I have were actually connected to him. So what the way I would respond to situations were connected to, actually that's the way he would respond. So was it him that I was taking them from rather than me? And it was funny asking those questions to myself and realizing, actually, was I angry in these situations? Or, you know, and actually, do you know what, saying that, I used to get really bad, I've just thought about this, I used to get really bad road rage.
Okay.
And I would get to the stage where, like, I always say, like, I'm glad I'm not in America, because if somebody cut me up, I'd probably be following them, and if I had a gun, I'm like that kind of, you know, get angry. And I would never do that, I'm only joking. But I would be really angry with people, and I get really, really annoyed. And my dad didn't even drive, but I do remember like being little, and my mum and dad being in the car, and somebody cutting up my mum, and my dad going absolutely mental, like hanging out the window, screaming at this person. I don't think I've had any road rage. I'll have to ask Richard. Don't think I've had that road rage since we've done our course. So maybe like that isn't really on me, you know.
I think this stuff is like, because it's embodiment as well. We do the work, and then it takes a while for it to fully embody into your system. And because your DNA changes and things like that shift, but your whole system needs to catch up. And that takes a little bit longer. So sometimes people get instant results from some things, and then sometimes things take a little bit longer, and they don't realise till they've been put in a situation that would normally really trigger them, and it doesn't happen, and then they suddenly, or somebody mentions it, oh, you didn't act say you would normally act, and then you realise, oh wow, well, like, that work has actually happened. It's done its job. So it could still be working now, even.
I imagine it is
that long, is it? No. The only one that really sticks to my mind was our last session.
Oh yeah,
last session, because we thought that was going to be quite an easy one, didn't we? We sort of going in just doing a timeline thing and whatever else we had left to do, and we just thought, oh, it's not going to be, but that ended up being a really big one, didn't it, for us?
Well, I remember I thought you were being really rude because you weren't looking and you were looking all around the room, and I thought, I'm talking to you, Tracy, why are you not listening to me? And then you said that a man had walked into the room, and you said, and then the whole room had changed and you couldn't see anything, and I was thinking, are you having a stroke? Are you okay? I was actually like generally worried about you. And I was like, I can't do anything. We live like miles away from each other. So, yeah, and you said it was like is it a kaleidoscope thing? Those ones that you said look at that.
Yeah, so it's like whole of reality just shifted and changed, and my vision just was become really distorted. So it was a bit like looking down a kaleidoscope, but it was going on either side, and it was sort of misty. I literally couldn't see anything. I do remember, I've forgotten about the man appearing. I remember the man. Who was he that appeared?
I think you said it was my spirit guide. I think because you said because normally you think it's my granddad. Yeah, but you said it wasn't my granddad and it wasn't my dad. So I think it was my spirit guide, who I think I've discovered his name is Eddie. So I think it probably was him.
Yeah. And that's your big one, isn't it? Yeah. It would have had to have been a big one for that dynamics to happen.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it went on for 5 minutes, say, for me. Yeah. I don't know how long it went on for. And then everything like sort of shifted. But I can sort of remember saying to you, I think all time and dimension and time had all shifted.
Yeah, and they were all connected. Like you could just walk in and out of you. I think you even said at one point it was like as if there was a door there that you could just walk in, and you'd be then in the next dimension or that timeline or.
That was yeah.
And the funny thing about that one is that, I mean, I don't ever get that emotional, do I? When we do circle or anything like that. I don't think I've ever cried once. I think we've known each other almost 10 years now. I've been coming to Circle for like 10 years, and I don't think I've ever cried once.
I don't think I've ever seen you cry.
No, and you were talking, and it was really weird because you got really upset and you started like getting quite teary. And then I started getting quite teary, and you said you'd picked up my emotions, but I didn't even realise that they were there. Yeah. It was after that you got upset that I got upset. And I remember we were going through when I did the meditation, and I just was like, I mean, I just felt like I was, when that grief when you've just found out someone really close has died. That's how I felt. Like I felt like my whole world had like shattered, kind of thing. But I didn't know why, and I think it was. But I think my unconsciousness knew why, because they knew what I was going into, and they knew it was a really emotional one for me. Because I remember you said about getting to the tree, and you were going through the door, and I remember thinking, no, I don't want to go. And I remember really, really like just having these tears running down my eye, like my face. I could feel them. You might not have even been able to see them, but I remember thinking like I don't want to go through that door, and I really had to force myself through it. And you said you were really annoyed at me because when I eventually came back, you were like you were just about to take a video of me because you said you could see all the energy over my head.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And I just came out of it just as you were about to do that. Yeah. But that was I think you've talked about it on one of your podcasts before, but that was I think I was dying of cancer. I was quite young, and we'd had that conversation. Yeah. But I think it was a past life, because when I was younger, I didn't think I was going to get to 30. I was convinced. I think you might have even remembered me saying this a few years ago.
Now you're saying it, I'll remember what you're saying. Yeah.
And I said, I'm never going to get to 30. I'm going to die before 30. And I think I said, like, oh, I'm either going to have children or I'm not going to have children. And even when I was younger, I used to say, if I get to 30, I'm not going to have children. If I don't have children before I'm 30, I'm never going to have children.
That over the
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
And I always remember thinking that, like, that was just something I'd always thought about. And then it turned out that in this lifetime, I was pregnant, and I think I had breast cancer. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it was like an age where it might not even been that long ago, but it was definitely an age where there was no treatment for it. Yeah, you just were going to unfortunately die, or maybe even I think it was probably that. I mean, it could have been unlikely, but it could have been the fact that so I was pregnant in this lifetime. I can't remember if I said, and it could have even been that I'd said no, I didn't want anything. That's the other thing is it could have been a time when there was treatment, but maybe I didn't want to lose the baby. I didn't want to kill the baby, so maybe I turned around and refused it. I don't know that much into. I don't remember that much. I just remember I didn't have the treatment because either there wasn't any. But I could feel this baby moving, and even like when I was in there, I could feel this baby moving. And I think like that really, I mean, I hope that's cleared this kind of fear of not being able to have, like, this fear that my body's hold on to that I didn't even realize that I can't have children. You know, and hopefully that's I think it probably has removed it. I mean, we'll only tell that, won't it? But I don't know. But and that was a big thing, you know. That was a really big thing for me.
Yeah, so we did a past life, that's right. And that's what occurred in that past life, and that's what made you really emotional, because that was your belief, even carried into this lifetime, that could be the case.
Yeah.
And you didn't know where it come from, did you?
No, not at all.
Thought that.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? That I completely forgot. So the problem with doing this, when I do different clients, I can't remember what happened in each one.
Yeah.
And obviously it's probably not my place to remember everything anyway, because I'd take on all that energy and all that. But I mean, everybody has a journal and everyone writes it down. So you've probably got stuff in your journal anyway, if you back to it to have a look what happened. But we'd have a recap at each time, wouldn't we, to see what happened the one before. But so that one session that we thought was going to be the last was a big one, wasn't it?
The funny thing is with that is that cleared all the time, because I think we had 11 timelines, and I think we were up to, like, what was it, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think there was 4 timelines that we hadn't cleared by that point on our last session. And I kept trying to clear them between our sessions, but something would come up and you had to wait a week between doing each session. So I wasn't always able to do it the week before and the week after we did our last session. And I think I was getting myself panicking, thinking I'm not going to clear these last 3 on my own once we've done the 8th one. And then it cleared all of them.
Yeah,
it just cleared all the ones that were left, so we didn't have to go through any of them. So it's probably why I couldn't do them on my own, because they were probably like, you don't need to worry about all of this. So
it's funny, isn't it? Yeah, because you have to leave a bit of time in between doing those, again, for the embodiment to happen and the clearing to take place and the change to take place within the system. So you can't keep doing them, which is why I said to you, you have to do in between me. If you could do it, then do it. If you couldn't, then that's fine. Then we'll just do it when we got together. But that was amazing, that last one. I probably will never forget that. I've forgotten already the story of, like, the past life. I just remember the feeling of being in that situation.
Well,
weird things happen anyway, so I'm sure it'll probably happen again at some point, sometime. Who knows? But it was interesting. They're always interesting because everybody's different when we do these things. And you've done quite a bit of stuff with me over the years as well, haven't you? So you've done the shamanic stuff with me as well.
The healing, you came to my house once and did that healing with me, and that really, sorry, the cat's like on that was really good, because I mean that must have been about almost 3 years ago now. You did that healing, and that near enough was instant change. I could feel the instant change with that straight away, because I don't really remember exactly what we did and how you did it, but I remember I was in a stage where I was, I couldn't watch a TV show or I couldn't watch an advert on TV without, like, a sad one without bawling my eyes out, because I was so everything made me emotional. And I remember we did that healing, and I wasn't crying at every TV show and I was like, this is amazing. This is so nice. Not
we connected to your dad without going into it. I think that was part of it, wasn't it? Maybe it was a bit of grief in there and stuff that was a bit unresolved for you. But yeah, I remember coming and doing that one. And then we've done other things as well, like retreat days as well.
Yeah, we did
that one. Was
me and Richard came to the retreat day that you did.
Yeah.
Oh, that was you did the light codes.
Yes.
And I remember I saw them all. And then when I woke up, when I came out of the meditation, I couldn't see anything. Everything was grey. Like the garden was grey. We were sitting in the garden, weren't we? And the grass was grey, you were grey, everything was grey. And I thought, oh my God, what's going on?
Oh, yeah.
It took a little while for that to come back, but that was really good as well. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, because Richard came as well, didn't he? So we had the whole day. Well, we had a couple of other. We had Claire there as well, didn't we?
It was the three of us, I think, wasn't it?
The three of you, yeah. That was quite intense. That doing. So I tend to do them more on a one-to-one now, or maybe couples rather than like free, because a lot of energy goes into those things, doesn't it?
Probably made it a bit easier that it was me and Richard and then one other person rather than like three strangers, if that made sense. Like if we all didn't know each other. But yeah, I mean, Richard found that really helpful as well. I remember he really enjoyed it. He was really pleased that we did it, and I can't really remember. Oh yeah, that was it with that one. So we went to your retreat day, and Richard's mum, we never really had a great relationship, and I can't remember exactly what we were clearing. I don't remember everything. I don't remember everything that we were clearing and doing.
Yes, I remember.
When was that? I think that was in the May. Was it the April or the May? So it might have been about a year ago.
Yeah, it was in the summer.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't. It was before June. I remember. That's all I remember. It was before June, and we'd gone out for a meal with his mum in June, and she pulled me to one side and she apologized for the way she treated me all my like relationship with Richard. And she said she realized that, and this weight just lifted off of my shoulders. Like it was amazing. And it was really soon after we'd done that. We
did the masculine and feminine.
That was it. Yeah,
that's what we did. And we did a lot of clearing back down that, and it's a bit like generational, but it stays immediate.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's right. And we did that. And you had that from Richard's mum, which was unexpected, wasn't it?
Really unexpected. I did not. I was like, when she asked, she said, "Can I speak to you?" Because we were all out for a meal for a party. She's like, "Can I speak to you?" And I was like, "Oh no, what's she gonna say?" And then she apologized, and I was like, "Oh," and it was just such a nice. And I told Richard after, and he was like, "No, she didn't. She didn't say that," because he just didn't believe me. So
yeah, it's amazing what comes up, isn't it, in this stuff? Yeah, so like you come to my circles and things, don't you? You love all this sort of thing.
I love the circle.
Yeah, and even though like we've known each other for like 10 years, even when we do stuff together, there is always new stuff that comes up and shows up. You never really know anyone 100%, do you? You don't ever know what's going on in the background or people's personal lives and things like that. You only, like all of us, you only know what we share. So you know, so it doesn't really matter if you've known someone a long time or not, does it? Or whether they're newbie, makes no difference, does it, with this type of work?
No, because you just wouldn't pick up. You wouldn't be able to remember. I mean, your memory, sorry, it's not great. So you wouldn't remember things anyway. You wouldn't remember these things. So I never worry about that. You know, I never think, oh, you know that about me, because if anything, the only thing I know about you that you won't tell me certain things, because you know that I can sometimes get a little bit obsessive with them. So you'll hold off telling me things rather than, and you might tell me later and go, yeah, I picked that up. And I know you did, because I know you're not going to lie to me, you know. But it's funny how that's how you would know things about me. You'd be like, oh, I better not tell her that, because she'll go on, she'll be thinking about it for the next 3 years till it happens. So
Well, I had to train myself not to remember, which is I've obviously done it a bit too well now. Because like when I first started doing it, I used to, well, first started doing readings and healings and all my sort of stuff, really. I would really think about the person that I'd done something for. And if they'd had a terrible life or terrible things, I'd go home and think about that.
Yeah.
And it'd be on my mind. I'd be thinking about when I went to bed, and it would just like play on me all the time. So I had to sort of train myself, like you go in and you do that reading, say, and then you forget about it. You go in and you do that healing, you forget about it. Otherwise, you can't take on loads of people's stuff.
No.
I think I've just done it a bit too well now. So whenever I see someone and I've not seen them for a week, they have to remind me what we did the week before. So I've that. But because we're going to go on and talk a bit about human design in a minute, because that's something else we really like, isn't it? And something we sort of really getting into. I've been doing it for I don't know how many years. Do you remember how many years? I've got a bad memory.
No, I don't really know. I only really discovered it in the last, I think it was the last just under a year. I've really discovered human design when you did it on a circle once. But you probably, I think because it's the gene keys are quite similar to that, aren't they? So I think that's all to do with it. And I think you've been doing that
into the gene keys before I did human design, but it's probably been 3 or 4 years anyway that I've been around the human design thing. And I sort of going in to see what our types are. And I did do that in circle as well. But I lost my thread now while I was leading up to that.
because we both really are passionate about it, and we are hoping to.
Yeah, we're going to do stuff. So we've set up a Facebook page, like a private group for anybody that's interested in it, where we're going to start sharing stuff about what we like. So even though like we work completely differently, and we are completely different, because that's where I was going, because I'm a projector. And you're a manifesting generator. As a projector, my aura is all absorbing. So it's really focused and absorbing. So when I'm working with a one-to-one client, I actually absorb what's going on with them. I take on board that energy. I take on board their anxieties. I take on board their ailments. I take on board everything. So it takes me a while after each session to clear that. So I'm constantly clearing my energy field, clearing what's going on with me all the time. So even though now I might not necessarily remember what I've done, my body still remembers, because my body's got the energy or whatever I've taken on board, and that's part of being a projector. So it's not a lot I can do about that. That is my makeup. But you're a manifesting generator. So your work a bit different. I don't know if you absorb stuff like me though, do you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like with my, I probably work more with my channels and stuff like that into what I know it's a bit more in depth, but I think I go a little bit more now that I know who I am, my human design type. I try and look at my channels and how I'm supposed to be working in regards to that way. But it's funny because like with regards to before I even knew I was a manifesting generator, I look back now on my life and I think, God, I manifested so much stuff. Like the house that I'm in now, we came and saw this house, and I knew the minute I walked in.
I remember you saying,
I knew this was our house. And me and Richard left the house, and we were walking down the street, and I said, "That's our house." And he went, "No, it's too expensive. We can't afford it." And I went, "Of course we can." And he went, "No, we can't." I went, "Well, we never would have gone and looked at it if it was out of our budget. That would not have happened." And he was like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "Oh, that is our house." And anyway, driving home, we'd had a sale on our house. Like our house had been, an offer had been made. Driving home, we get a phone call, and they were like, "Oh, they know they pulled out of the sale." So we were both like a little bit deflated. And we'd already booked in a second viewing of our house, and then they rang us the next day and they said, "Oh, we're really sorry, but she's changed her mind and she doesn't want to sell the house anymore. She's taken it off the market." And Richard was really upset. I was upset, obviously, but there was still something in me that was like, "No, that's our house." And I thought, that's the universe or whoever. They're stopping anyone else from getting that house, so they've taken it off the market for us while we find a buyer. And then we found a buyer, and another buyer, and we got all our, like, how much we could offer and stuff like that, and we offered a little bit less than what we could have, what they said we could afford, but I don't actually think we would have been able to afford the money they actually would have said. And we rang up, and because you can put an offer on a house even if the house isn't for sale, like if a house has been up with an estate agent and it's no longer for sale, obviously as long as it hasn't been sold, you can still put an offer in, and they have to legally give that offer to the client, like to the person who owns the house. They have to legally do that. They have to legally give every offer you make. They have to, and if you offered £1, they'd have to legally say offering £1, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we offered this amount, and they said no, I'm sorry, she doesn't want to sell the house. And me and Richard got into a massive argument that night. My sister was round, and before we had the argument, it wasn't a massive argument, it was just a little disagreement, but my sister was round. She said, you've got to give up, that house isn't for you. And I turned around and went, nope, that's my house, I'm moving into that house. And me and Richard got into an argument because he was like, let's offer another 10,000, and I was like, no, we're not offering any more, we're getting it for the amount we've offered it, we're not going to offer any more. And he was like, you're wrong, we're going to lose that house because you're not willing to put in that extra money. And I said, we don't need to put in the extra money, that's our house. And we went to bed not talking. We were like really I was really angry at him because I was like, don't make me out to be the bad guy. I was like, don't worry about it, we'll get it. And the next morning we got a phone call from the estate agent, and they said, oh, the buyers, the seller is she really liked your offer and she wants to know if it's still on the table. So Richard was like, yes, of course it. Didn't even speak to me. He was like, yes, of course it is. And he said, look, she's going to view another house that's just come on the market this weekend that she loves. She's going to go and view that. If she likes it, she'll make an offer and then she'll accept your offer. But it all depends on whether they'll accept her offer. So we were like, yeah, okay. On the Monday, yeah, the house is yours. And I said to Richard, I went, had to offer another 10, did we?
I remember this going on actually at the time. Yeah, I remember us talking about it. Yeah.
And it's funny because obviously at the time I just knew it was our house, but now I look back doing the human design stuff, and I think, oh, I manifested that. That wasn't just, oh, that's our house. I honestly believe I manifested all of that happening. I knew I could see myself in the house. I can see where I am now talking to you. I could see myself having these conversations, like the cat on my lap. I could see it all as if I was there. And I did it with a few other things. Like, okay, my job that I was just in before this one, I changed positions. There was no reason in a million years that I should even change positions. I had no experience, and I just turned around one day and I was like, I'm going to go and work for that part of the company. And my husband was like, you're not. I don't know why he doesn't believe me. He should just.
I know.
Yeah. And he was like, that's not. He was like, I think you're getting your hopes up. That's not going to happen. You have no experience. They're not going to take you on when you've had like 10 years experience doing this. They're not going to take you to that side. And I was like, no, I'm going to go and work that side of the business. And anyway, a couple of months later, they said, yeah, okay. Well, I brought it up to them and I said, like, this is what I'd like to do. This job's coming up. I would like it. And yeah, and they accepted me, and they were like, yeah, that's fine. You can move over. Which actually, funny enough, thinking about it now, with human design, mine is responding, so I shouldn't initiate that. And it didn't go well in the end, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't have initiated it. I don't know, but
yeah, well, yeah, I think we're both responding. Rejectors got to respond to somebody's initiation. We can't initiate things, if you like.
Yeah. I guess I didn't initiate I think that maybe there was always a role there, and I didn't initiate that. I responded to the fact that.
Yeah, I suppose you look at it that way. Yeah. But if they'd have mentioned it to you, you would have responded to it.
Yes.
It was said to you, or this role is going. What do you think about it, or whatever, even if they never offered it to you? But that's still initiation for you to respond, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. So it's funny, and I just think it's funny, like looking back, and I think, I probably manifested all the things that near enough everything that's happened to me. You know, even bad things, you can manifest bad things. Like you can't just think that manifesting is good things that happen to you. If you're in the wrong energy, you're manifesting bad things. And that's why I'm really passionate, for me, doing this human design, because I don't want the people that are manifestors or manifesting generators to be manifesting bad things. I want them to manifest. I want everyone to be happy, so I want them all to manifest their good lives. You know,
it's good to know what you know. I'm a projector, and you've done a little bit about my reading, haven't you? You've done my blueprint, as we call it, and you say I'm really in alignment with being how I should be. And I sort of started to shift it into alignment when I realised I was out of alignment. I did know when I was out of alignment. Then you have to start changing aspects of your life and changing circles. And sometimes they're big things.
Yeah.
Well, that you do have to change. I mean, I moved up and down the country and things like that. So I completely did have to change stuff to get back in alignment again. So sometimes they're little budgies that you need, and sometimes they're big things. But I think the one thing that really works the best with this projector stuff, knowing that I am one now, is the energy around it. That we don't have loads of energy. We only have a limited amount of energy.
Yeah.
Like even doing my programs and my healing work and my stuff like that, I know that I have a time limit to it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it all day, and not many people could do it all day long, to be fair. I could only do it to a certain, with the intensity that comes through with the way I do things, that then I know that, and I know that I will get tired and I need to cut off, and then I need to recharge, and I need to take the time out to recharge. So people see rest as like either being lazy or you don't really need to rest, but it's a necessary thing for me. It just has to happen. I do have to rest. And I used to come from a place of being a generator.
Yeah.
So I think like in my younger years, or even up until probably realised what type I was, that I would forever be doing, always got to get stuff done. Like I'd be my own worst enemy trying to get stuff done. It'd play on my mind that I've got to get stuff done. I'm not like that at all now.
Is that because maybe you're surrounded by like a lot of your family are generators, so you've been brought up by generators, so they don't understand like why you don't have the energy, so you've had to force yourself to have that energy, but because of that you haven't been able to do things properly because you're not living in your true self, your true thing, kind of thing.
So what I used to do on reflection is take myself away. And like say, oh, I can't come because I'm busy or something like that. I'd take myself away. So I probably naturally do it to a degree. But when you understand how you work, you just slot it into your day. You think, oh, I'm a bit tired, a bit this, just won't do anything tomorrow. Get my energy back up, get your like vibration, frequency, whatever, and get back in it again. Type of things. Where I come from a completely different place, which is not logical to maybe generators or manifesting generators, because completely different. So where you could probably generate, I mean, manifesting generators can go from 0 to 100 quite quickly. They can get really excited about something and they're like full in. They want to do everything everywhere. They're really excited about stuff. But that's a good thing. But then on the other side of that, like we said before, they can then get bored, or if things are not moving quick enough.
We go from 100 to 0 just as quickly. We're like, we're done with this now.
Yeah. Whereas like manifestors are 0 to 200, and the same thing can happen to them. But it's just like knowing that if you don't rein it in from 0 to 100, you're going to end up some point in that being frustrated.
When it doesn't work out, or you're not happy in that job doing that anymore.
For you,
I think for me, like personally, I love change. Like, don't get me wrong, but there's certain changes that you don't want. I think as a human, we all don't like certain changes. We all don't like certain things. But I actually thrive on like, oh, this is a new job. When I think back to my work, I've worked only in 3 companies. I've only ever been in 3 companies. But I think I've had like something like 20 jobs in those 3 companies. I was funded to like 4 or 5 different places for like a couple of months.
Typical manifesting generator.
And I loved it, but nobody would look at my CV and go, oh, you've bounced around, because it was like this team, but working here and doing this job and doing that. And I remember I was always the person that was like, oh, we need someone to cover this role, but it's not a full-time role. Oh, Kelly can do that. Oh, we need help with it. Oh, Kelly can do that. And I'd have like 6 or 7 things going, and I'd be like, okay, I'm putting this hat on right now and doing this work. And it's only when you look back and you think, oh, that's because of I'm this, and that makes more sense then, you know. When you get stuck in a job that's just doing one thing, you can get bored easily. Like, do it for a year and then you're like, okay, I'm done with that now. I'm ready to move to the next thing.
Yeah, that's a big thing with like generators and sometimes manifesting generators. They don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
It's lost all appeal. They're frustrated, and all they're thinking about is the money, maybe, or the bills they've got to pay. But really, they need to come out of that, realign their energy, and then go back and find something else that aligns with them again or excites them. You need to be excited about stuff.
Well, that's exactly what happened with me with my old job, where I got to the stage where, I mean, for a generator to be burnt out, that must say a lot if a generator's burnt out. And I was at the stage where I was doing like 10, 12-hour days of work because we had so much work on. And I should have left probably 6 months before I even did leave. But it took me that extra 6 months to even have my notice in. So I was there probably an extra 9 months. That's almost a year, you know, so that, I think you're completely right in that regard. Like, you just don't know. It's not until you're at your lowest, like you can't literally give any more. For a generator not to give any more, then they have to they shouldn't have been in that situation where they couldn't give any more.
Not healthy, no, not at all. No, you do just reach burnout and you get to the stage and you just can't function properly anyway with that. But as for me, with being a projector, we're very focused, so I can do stuff quite quickly. I can really focus in when I need to, and like I've written books, so I've done 4, but when I was commissioned to write these books, they would normally give you a year. Mine would be done and sent probably 4 or 5 months.
Really?
And ready to go within 6, you know. Once they come back with all the corrections and things on it, that always happens. And mine be ready in like 6 months, and they'd go, bloody hell, that's amazing. How did you get that done quick? I'd focus right in on it. So I would like get up early and do it. I'd go gym, do my energy clearing, do whatever I had to do for work or whatever at that time, come back to it again and do it. So like I'm very focused. So if I look back over my lifetime to what I've done that in everything that I've done. I've gone right in fully to really learn about it, and then just notched up another skill. And then I do it till maybe I think I'm done. Or can't physically do it because I did fitness for quite a long time, and I'll still do fitness, but I don't teach it or whatever so much or anything now. So I knew when I needed to come out of it, say, and then like, I'd go in and I'd done all the corporate stuff as well for a while. So I particularly liked it, liked the money sometimes, but it was a bit too Groundhog Day for me. I didn't really like it. I can't remember how long I did it for now. On and off, because I could do my fitness sometimes as well, because I could do it after work, especially when I worked in Docklands. I'd go to the gym and do some stuff like personal training and stuff after work as well, or I could do a bit at lunchtime. So I'd mingle things in just to keep it interesting, you know. I was like, the thought of ever going back to doing an office job, never in a minute. Not that I probably would now, but you know, I just couldn't. Do you think you could do it?
No, never. I mean, for me, like, one of my channels is called Money Making Channel. I can't remember the number. I really should remember the number, but I don't off the top of my head. And that literally means that you're not supposed to be in like proper employment. You're supposed to be in a job that's more likely you're supposed to be self-employed. And when I look back now and I think, I don't even know how I stayed in employment, like employed in an actual role for so long. Like, I can see looking back how I was so living in my full self, because I did feel all of those things you're supposed to feel when you're not living in your true self. And I think if I did that to myself now, if I turned around and said, I'm going to go back and work in an office, even though, don't get me wrong, Richard would probably love me to, because he'd know that more money coming in, but actually I think it puts an actual block on money. I think you're more likely to put that block on money because you're not bringing in the money you should be bringing in, which, you know. And no, I couldn't go. So to answer your question, no, I couldn't go into an office.
I think doing something you love and you're passionate about will just naturally put that energy out and just generate and draw people to you. And even like, we're not supposed to initiate, but we have to show up. We have to do stuff like this to talk about it, so people can understand what, you know, what I do, for instance, in this podcast, you know, doing programs and stuff, but understand about it for having the conversations with people like yourself.
Yeah.
So they get the gist of what it's all about to trigger their interest. So then they might come to me and then I'll respond. So it's the same when we do the human design stuff as well. We'll have to put stuff out there, and people can come and just say, you know, if something sparks their interest and they want to learn more, if they want to have a reading done, or if they just generally want to know what their energy type is and things like that. So, you know, to going back to when we first started doing this, so we have set up a group on Facebook where we're starting to put people in it now, and we're going to sort of talk about this stuff in there, aren't we? And so people can go and find out what their profile is. They can go and look it up. There's only 5 of them anyway, so just go and see what type you are, and then you can come in and join us and see what you can learn from it, what you can take from it. And then if you want to go a bit more in depth, we're here to do more on that side of it as well. So it's not something we've just started doing. I do it in my program anyway. There's one of my programs which Kelly did do, where I go in and do a human design. I think I did the Pearl with you, didn't I? Is that the one you had?
I think so, yeah.
What was that? That's about your purpose, wasn't it? That one? If I'm trying to remember what I done for you.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's really bad that I can't remember. I just think we've done so much different things. It's hard to remember.
So you can go in and do different stuff. So you can do it to see what your purpose is. You can go in to see what your type is. For relationships, for jobs, for businesses. You can do it for all different stuff. So if best way to eat, sleep, interact with the world, rest. Everything, exercise. There's even ways to exercise depending on your type as well. So for me, like as a projector, I have to move every day, which is why I'm drawn to go walking. Even if I do go to the gym, or if I don't go to the gym, I still have to go for a walk. Our system is slower to process everything from our adrenal glands and stuff like that. So we need to have that constant movement, because that's the way we are. So for you, if you was going to do something, you would probably pick something more, maybe dance would be. You do dance actually, don't you?
Yeah.
Have you been lately? I haven't said.
No, but I do like to dance in the kitchen a lot. Like when I'm cooking, I'll like I'll put music on and just dance along to it. So if I'm like walking over to the fridge, I'll dance there, and then walking back to the sink. So do a lot of that, I suppose.
Yeah, that's ideal for your type.
Yeah.
Because that's quite exciting, quite quick moving, depending if you're doing because I know you and Richard now, on hindsight, do go dancing classes at some point, doing your thing, don't you?
Well, I don't go to them, to be honest. I don't really go very often, but we'll go to dance social events every now and again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remembered that you did then, as I said it go at some point. That's ideal for you, for your type. That's quick moving, quite lively. That won't get bored, because you won't be doing the same dance day in. You know what I mean? There'd be different ones, weren't there? So that's definitely like a thing for you to do. So where the exercise is coming into it. So there's different ways to eat as well, isn't there? It's just so much.
I think you have a nervous eating, which means you should be like you should be doing something while you're eating. You should never just sit there. You shouldn't sit at a table just eating. You should, if you're going to sit at a table, you need to read a book, have music on, or have the TV on.
Watch TV. But years ago, I never used to do that. And I find even though we've been brought up to not do these things, but I find it makes me eat quicker for some reason. I'm aware that I eat quicker because I'm watching TV, so you're sort of like doing this. Yeah. In fact, I actually don't have a problem with it. I think if I was to slow down and chew and do that, I think I have digestive issues.
I have to admit,
myself, it should slow down, but it doesn't make any difference.
I have to admit, I'm not very good with my eating strategy yet. I need to get on top of that, because mine is something I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's I think it's seasonal or something like that. So I'm supposed to eat in season, and I'm not good at that. I eat in what I fancy. However, saying that, I do get to like winter and I think, okay, I want casseroles. And I do get to summer and I think, oh, I want salads. So I would never really eat a jacket potato in the summer, but I would eat a jacket potato in the winter and the autumn. So I think maybe I do naturally go that way, but maybe I need to be a little bit more you know, no, you can't eat this because this is not a seasonal meal, and I need to be a little bit more careful with that. So, but I'm the kind of person, I need to fancy what I eat, and if I don't fancy it, then I can't eat it. So if I fancy the wrong thing, the wrong time of year.
Oh, I know, but it is a thing with manifesting generators, because they have to want what they want. They're not very good with diets and people telling them what to eat. They would only do it for a short period of time. They need to fancy what they want to eat, otherwise they just think, oh, I'd rather not eat really. Then
Richard gets really angry at me because if he says, what do you want for dinner, and I'll say, let's have this, and then like 2 hours later I said, we're having this instead, he'll be like, oh, you're changing it again. I'm like, but I don't fancy that anymore, I fancy this now. And then he'll say, oh, can't we just have like cereal? I'm like, no, I don't want cereal for dinner, I've never eaten cereal for dinner.
What you should say, what are we having for dinner? And you go, surprise.
Yeah. No, then I can get quite, when I'm not living in my true self, I get frustration. So I get frustrated with him if he doesn't give me an idea of what to have for dinner. So I'm like, you need to give me an idea. And then he'll give me one. I'll be like, no, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. I want like, I don't know, a roast. He'll be like, well, I was never going to come up with a roast, was I? I was like, well, you should have been in my head.
What is Richard? Is he a generator?
He's a generator, yeah. I can't remember too much about all his things like that, but I do know that he's got a line of a 4. What are you?
I'm a 3-5.
So okay, so I think he's I think he's a 4-2.
You're a 4-1.
I'm a 4-1, I believe, and I think he's a 4-2. I can't remember the number, but I do know that his one is literally like it. It means that you're like kind of on a train. You're like a train track. You're the train and you're only going one direction and no one can pull you off from that direction, and people like get on and they'll get off when they want, but he has no say in the matter of people staying in his life. And when we were talking about it and I was reading it to him, he was like, that's so true. He's like, I've had people that like people just appear in my life, and they do. He just makes friends. The other day on the train, he's made a friend with someone, and he's like, oh, I've made this friend with this girl, Coral. We see each other on the train all the time, so I just said hi. I went, are you a weirdo? I was like, I'd never do that. I'd never just go up to someone and say hi. And
it's so Richard though, isn't it?
Yeah. He's like, oh, that's just what you do. And I was like, oh, not me. But he like that, he just makes friends. People just appear in our lives for like a season and then they'll go. And that's kind of the way he's always been. So I think that's quite interesting. And he looks back now and he's like, oh, that makes sense as to relationships that he kind of wishes, with family that he wishes he'd had that actually didn't work out, because it's not on him, it's on other people have decided to get off. But then also he has no karmic ties in this life. So he's living a pretty good life, really. He said to you once that he looked at himself as lucky.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, and I think and that's kind of that is what that line is. It's like a lucky life. It's like everything works out because you're just going in one direction. There will never be a fork in the road for you to go, which way shall I go?
He's just going on his route.
Yeah.
You're a 4, because I said to you this before, didn't I? For certain good relationships, sometimes, not always the case, but you look at if you both got the same number, so you both got 4. Did you lead more into that?
Yeah, so I'm a 4-1. I'm a regal authority, which is actually really strange because we've both got the 4, so it means that we are connected. But what's funny about it is that his one doesn't like to be told what to do, but I'm a one that likes to tell people what to do. But we work. It's really weird, like I think it's because I'm like, I'm not getting off this train, I'm staying with you, you're doing this, and he's like, I'm not. I'm like, okay, just pretend you're doing this. No, I don't know, but like it is funny when you do read into all of them. It's funny how you see the connections and you see your life. And like I know the way to find out what your I was doing a bit of research, and the way to find, obviously you know this, but the way to find out what your type is your date of birth, the location, and then the time you were born. And obviously I don't think a lot of people always know what time they were born. So I was reading about that, and I said, if you don't know what time you were born, because the things that can change with regards to the time is your regal, is the line, the strategy, things like that might change a little bit. You'll still be a manifestor, or you'll still be a projector. But what they said to do is put a few different times in. So do like, say, 12 o'clock in the morning, do 4 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, and do it, and then read all of them and see what resonates with you. And you eventually and you just have to, and that's what a lot of, I think, life is about as well, is following your gut. You'll know whether something sits with you or if it doesn't, won't you? So, you know, so for the people that are going to go on it, if you don't know your time, then I really recommend doing that.
Sometimes it's on the birth certificate, and I have, I've not looked at my birth certificate to see if it actually is on there, but I know my time because my dad told me it. But I think sometimes you can ask the hospital where you're born as well, if there's records.
Yeah, you can do
Maybe
that.
your doctor might even know, I don't know. So there are certain ways you can find out. But again, if you don't know those and you can't do that, then obviously do it a few times to see what resonates.
But there is ways around it, so don't worry about like
you could have a sort of a rough idea.
You might know you were born in the morning or the evening kind of thing. Yeah.
You probably would know that anyway, wouldn't you? So you just sort of narrow it down the best you can.
Yeah.
And if you can't get it 100%, I suppose knowing whether you're a generator, a manifestor, or reflector, or whatever, you know, it's still handy to know that.
Yes. Yeah.
100% with the lines and other things that are involved in it.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited. Like, I'm just excited to share with people and for people to understand it. And I really do think it makes a difference in your life. Like, not like, you know, it's just nice to be able to work in that energy. Do you think like that's knowing how to respond to things and how to, like, projectors, for instance, you're not supposed to listen to your gut, you're supposed to listen to your intuition. If you leave it too long, you can be listening to someone else's gut, and you might pick up on what I'm feeling about it, and then you're picking up, so you have to go really quickly with what's your decision, whereas I might have to wait a minute or two to figure out how do I feel about this. And that, I think that's really interesting as well, because I might go, oh, come on, like you might go, oh, come on, Kelly, make a decision, like because you expect to do a decision straight away. But learning about how other people react is really interesting as well. You can be a little bit, not that people aren't kind, but you could be a little bit kinder to people because you know, oh, do you know what? I know that they're a projector and I'm a manifesting generator, so I know that they're not going to look at the world from the way that I look at it. And then you can be a little bit more understanding and things like that, and it helps relationships.
And say that, right? I was talking to my mum yesterday. My mum's a generator, and we were talking about something, and she just sat there and she went, oh, I can't make rash decisions. I can't make up my mind really quickly. I have to sit with it. I have to mull it over. I have to think of all different aspects. What could go wrong? What could go right? And it takes me about 3 days to come to a conclusion. And she said, actually, by then I've talked myself out of it. It's actually a generator thing.
Yeah.
I said to you, you're actually in alignment with how you are. That's what you're supposed to do with all that. And if it doesn't sit well by the end that you've done all that, then it's not for you. So it's best to leave it.
I also
think it's good for you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I also think that if you're even questioning it as a manifesting generator, if you're even questioning it, that means that there's a no in there somewhere, and that means that it has to be a no. So it might take you 5 days to figure it out, but really, if you learn and you know yourself quickly enough, you can kind of get that quite straight away. As the minute you have that, like when you came to me and said about us doing this, there was never a no there. It was 100% yes, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
There's certain things.
Everything we've done together, you've been quite straight.
Oh yeah.
No, but
there might be something someone says, oh, do you want to go here? And there might be something in me that's like, oh, I don't know, let me think about it. But really, I should be saying is, if I'm already thinking, oh, I don't know, that's a no. That should be. So your mum, as good as she is to do working on it, she just needs to know straight away. If I have to think about it, then the answer is no. I shouldn't have to worry about the 3 days.
Yes.
Waste my 3 days.
But I've always been really quick at making decisions, and I used to think, or people used to say to me, "You make rash decisions." But it actually is the way I should be making them, because you get that instant hit. I'm a splenic projector, so that's the only defined of me that there is. So that's where it comes from. So it is instant. It comes into my mind. It's a yes or a no. That's it. There is no maybe, don't know, or whatever. It's yes, no. it. Just go with it. It feels good or it don't.
Yeah.
So, it's really interesting to know that when you're coming from that place,
yeah,
you can make up your mind quite quickly that it feels good or it doesn't, sort of thing. I don't have to go through that process, but maybe when I was a generator or acting like one maybe years ago, I might have gone through all that process because I've got loads of generators around me. I could be doing the same sort of thing. Really, nothing comes to mind, but maybe. But yeah, it's nice when you know your type and you just in alignment with your type.
Yeah. But in that situation, when you were doing that, you weren't living properly. So you could have been going yes, because you might have been thinking about it for a while, but really you should have been saying your intuition straight away as a projector would have been no, but you would spend time to talk yourself into doing something rather than talking yourself out of doing it, which you shouldn't do. So I just I find it all really interesting. I can't wait to share
all of this like self-development, personal development stuff. Everything in it intrigues me about making yourself a better person or being the best version of yourself. It all is fascinating. So we'll round it up, shall we? Because we've been on here an hour, and I always am mindful of other people listening that they've got to spend that bit of time with us to get to the end of it. And so if you want to know more about the human design, we'll probably do another podcast, shall we, on it anyway, and go into it a bit more and just stick to that subject. And
definitely. And we'll go through maybe if we did it weekly or fortnightly, and we can go through each section a little and do it that way. And or people can ask us what they want to know, and we can answer some questions on that, really.
Yeah. So if you, this will get shared on my private groups and everything. So if you see the video go up and you want to know a bit more about the human design stuff or anything we talked about today, just drop a message underneath it once I share it around. And if you're interested to go on the group, we'll put you on the group. So we have plans to expand it. So there will be TikTok and there will be a different YouTube for that eventually. But at the moment, we're just building a Facebook group and just getting interest out there and just see if anybody wants to connect with us and just learn a bit more, really. That's what we've come up with so far, isn't it?
Yeah. we just see where we go.
Yeah, we're going with the flow a bit and just enjoying the process, because that's what it's all about, isn't it, for us? To just have fun along the way and enjoy what we're doing. We don't want to put too much pressure on it just yet and just let it evolve naturally. Thank you so much, Kelly, for coming on. I really appreciate you spending the time and sharing some of your stories and stuff with us. And I look forward to catching up with you in a few days or so.
Yeah,
we have another chat.
So thank you so much. Thanks for all your help.
You're welcome. Thanks everyone for listening. Catch up with you all again soon. Bye for now.